All right. Hey, my name is Benjamin Thompson, and I'm going to be telling the story of how I became a wilderness firefighter. It all started back in 2023. I was working a nowhere job, hated life, was pretty much miserable to be around. And a true friend of mine noticed, and he was like, "Hey, man, you're physically fit, you got a can do attitude, you're pretty smart. Why don't you do something better with your life?" And I was like, "What the fuck is better with my life?" And he said, "Well, I'm going out to Oregon to be a wilderness firefighter. Why don't you see if you could do that?" And I was like, "Well, plug me in." So he gave me a number to call, and I called, and they liked what they was hearing, and so they gave me all the courses I would need to take, and they gave me everything I would need to get and do in order to be ready for fire season 2023. So I did it, and we went out. Some of the things you need to do is one, just work on your physical fitness. I was already pretty physically fit, but you could just always stand to get better. You have to take a 2 month course. Well, really, it's 287 hours, about 280 hours or so, give or take. And you have to complete that course before you can even go out there. Complete the course. You need to get a sleeping bag, a tent. You need to get a couple of essentials because you will be sleeping outside for the next 6 months or however long your fire season is. But you'll be sleeping on the gravel unless you have like a mobile home or you got to be doing van life or something. You'll be sleeping on the hard floor. So we loaded up, got everything done that we needed to get done, and we headed out. When we first got out there, we were a day early and we had nowhere to stay. So I found a spot. It was scary. There was no lights whatsoever. We had to safely clear a spot, build a fire, and stay warm for the night. But it was completely off the grid. You do what you got to do for the bag sometimes. And we pulled up the next day because I said we were a day early. Pulled up the next day and it was time for the physical test. I'd already did the mental. I'd already taken the 280 hours of class, 280-hour course. Now it's time to prove yourself physically. And the way you do that to become a wilderness firefighter is a pack test. And what a pack test is you have to emphasis on walk 3 miles with 45 pounds on your back in less than 45 minutes. Sounds easy enough, right? Wrong. Absolutely dead fucking wrong. If you think you can do it, load up, go do it right now. Because you can't. I promise you. I'm physically fit. I was physically fit, and I did not have that shit. But nevertheless, we was both out there big talking shit. Oh, who do you think's not going to pass the pack test? And we were literally like assholes going up to people. Who do you think's not going to pass? I'm going to pass. Do you think you're going to pass? Because I'm going to pass. Got out there, and first, let me just say, you think you're getting a weight vest, right? 45 pounds. How else would they put it on you? How else are you going to gain 45 pounds? They put a backpack on you. Emphasis on backpack, and they just start loading it up with cement until it weighs about 45 pounds. And there's a weigher there, so they load you up with a cement backpack. So instead of you being just regular up and down, you're just all hunched back because you gotta walk like this instead of walking straight up and down. You're walking like this to keep the weight up. Oh, it's dreadful. But needless to say, we failed the first pack test. 100% was not ready, and they're like, "Better luck in 2 weeks." I was, "Listen, sir, we don't have 2 weeks. We came out here, we dropped everything. I quit my job. I have to become a wilderness firefighter today." And but you failed the pack test. It's pass or fail. There's no, "Oh, well, I really want to pass." No, it's either you pass or you fail. So when's the next pack test? They're in 2 weeks. And then I heard somebody else say, "All right, we're getting ready for the next pack test." And I was like, "Oh, it sounds like there's another one today." And he's like, "But nobody ever passes 2 pack tests in one day." I was like, "Well, you're about to meet the first somebody." So we over here, we started a bit of a revolution for all the guys that didn't make it. And they're like, "We want to take it again." And so about 15 of us load up and do the pack test twice. It was a quick sidebar. I just want to say there was a guy, he was ex-Marine. He was out there for his family. I don't know what reason he couldn't do the Marines anymore, but he was here, and it just looked like he had completely let himself go. Respectfully, if you ever watched this, but he let himself go, and I felt bad because we really hit it off. We really made a decent friendship, and but just looking at the guy, you knew he wasn't going to pass that pack test. Not the first one, not the second one. And if there was a third one, he wasn't passing that one either. But he told me, he came to me, he pulled me to the side, and he was like, "Hey, man, if you stick with me throughout the whole pack test, I really think I can make it if I just have the encouragement of someone to do it with me." When I tell you I dropped that man like a bad habit, I'm sorry, brother, but I don't know what you got. It sounds like he had a girlfriend, a child, a whole apartment, a whole life to go back to. I was pretty much homeless outside of this. If I didn't make it in Oregon, I pretty much didn't have much to come back to. Bad things happened before I went out to Oregon. Some really life-changing stuff. But needless to say, went out, did the pack test. I had this little method of run walk, which again, you have to walk it. But I noticed everyone was running and didn't nobody get stopped. These were getting stopped. These, not so much, but this was getting stopped. So Went out there, had a run walk method. I would look around, make sure nobody was watching, run. And then when I knew I was coming up to a milestone, a checkpoint, they have it at the half a mile, mile, 2 mile, 2.5 miles, 3 miles. So there was checkpoints. All right, in between these checkpoints, I can get away with running a little bit. Did what I had to do, passed the second one, impressed a whole hell of a lot of people. And it felt good. From at the start of the day, there was, let's say, 300 people, and now there's only 205 people. So it felt good to be amongst the people that made it. We get the invite to the second location. That's the actual training facility, the 94-hour training facility. And we pull up immediately. We're the last people to get there. And we're the last group of pack tests to get there. And from the second we get there, everyone gets a number, everyone gets a squad, and PT immediately. PT. For the next 94 hours, it was PT, some type of workshop, some type of actual academic class, seminar, eat breakfast or eat lunch, eat dinner, go to sleep. That was the whole day. It was PT, workshop, seminar, some type of speaker, go to eat lunch, dinner, go to sleep. That was the whole 96 hours. So at the end of that, they're like, okay, you guys completed it. It's going to take us some time to sift through all this information. We should get back to all of you, or at least some of you, within the next 2 weeks. So I was like, what are we going to do for 2 weeks, brother? Because I went out there with my friend, like I said, and I was like, what are we going to do? He was like, we're homeless in Oregon for the next 2 weeks until we get the call. And it was jarring at first when he first realized, oh my God, I know I was kind of homeless, couch surfing back in California, but in Oregon, there was no couches to surf on. You're homeless, brother. So it was really rough. But luckily, we found a couple of other, it's a little windy, hold on. Luckily, we found a couple of other fellow out-of-staters, and we decided that since we're all from out of state, we might as well band together and try to figure this homeless thing out together. And that's exactly what we did. We found a couple of spots that weren't heavily monitored, set up tents. If it ever got hasty, packed up everything, moved. And for showers, there was a campsite nearby with free showers. I'm sure it was only for people that paid to be at that campsite. But we went in troves. You go shower, no, you go shower, oh no, you go shower. And then we divided up teams for I need laundry done, you need laundry done, all right, bet. We'll give you a little bit of laundry, you go do that laundry, and then we need some food, we'll send that team to go get food. And it was really an experience to be amongst a bunch of men anywhere from the ages of 22 to 25, just really surviving off the elements. It was really a dope experience. And after about a week and a half of that, we're all chilling. We're all bored out of our mind, playing cards. We're drawing. We're going down by the lake. We're trying to find things to pass our time while we just wait to get the call. About a week and a half in, the first guy's phone rings. Oh my God, I'm going on a fire. Everyone, we celebrate. We all drink. We have fun. And then the 2 week mark hits. Nobody gets a call. 2.5 weeks. Nobody gets a call. So now passions are high. Morale's low. Passions are high. People are butting heads. We're running out of money for food. We're running out of energy to do stuff. It's getting really bad. And then one night, what happens? 2 a.m., phones start going off. Oh my God, I'm going. And I'm waiting for my phone because it was a progressive thing. We didn't all get the call right at once. So I'm like, and unfortunately, I didn't get the call that night. So almost everyone did in our group. There was about 5 or 6 of us. After that night, there was 2 of us. It was me and one other man. And we had to figure it the fuck out. I'm mentally fortified, so I had to hold my own. And then after a couple of days, I think maybe 4 days later, I get the call. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm ecstatic. I'm completely ecstatic. I let him know. And again, I was the only person out there with the car. So out of all 9 of us, I think at the start of it, I was the only person with the car. So a lot of the reliance was on me. So I'd let him know, hey, bro, I can't leave you my car, unfortunately. I don't trust you enough to do that. But whatever you need to keep, you can keep it in my car. And we'll figure it out when I get back. I'm only going to be gone for 2 weeks because a natural fire run is 2 weeks. It could get short if you get the fire under control in a certain amount of time. And if the fire is really out of control, you could be out there for up to 21 days, 3 weeks. So it all depends on how wild the fire is. But yes, I load up and I go out, and it's a crazy first experience. On your first fire, you're green gilled. Everything is exciting. Everything is fun. Got windy again. Everything you're learning for the first time. And it was dope. My first fire, I actually didn't even see the fire. I wasn't on a fire. I was on contingency. Contingency is when you chop down everything in front of the fire, so by the time the fire arrives, there's nothing to burn. And I got my sawyer's license on that fire. And the sawyer's license is when you're certified to operate on the chainsaw, the heavy machinery, and you're able to chop down trees. I have my C license. And when you have your C license, you can only chop down trees up to 8 inches. So that was a lot of fun, chopping trees. My swamper was out there swamping everything. A swamper is someone who picks up the debris that you chop down. So me and my swamper was out there. When I got tired, passed the chainsaw to him. He starts cutting, I'm swamping, and we just did that back and forth, just swamping and swamper Sawyer. And it was really a great experience. I met some really great guys out there, butted heads with a lot of people because when you get that many people together, it's a chemical reaction. I got a personality, he's got a past. Everyone here is just trying to make it. We're all just out here to make money. And it's rough. It's a little rough sometimes. But nevertheless, I got through it, made some friends for life out there. Shout out my boys. You know who you are. I don't want to say any names because I'm going to forget some. But my first fire was amazing. A quick story. I don't have too many stories on the fire line because I could sit here and talk all day. This is just supposed to be a story about how I became a wilderness firefighter. But one thing I learned out there was this thing called Camp Crud. Never heard the term before. It's a terrible thing. Camp Crud is when you're in a camp and about 200 to 300 people all in a camp together. If one person gets sick, since we're all in such close proximity, everyone gets sick. And so it starts with one person, and then they were like, "Oh no, here comes the Camp Crud." And sure enough, that shit hits hard. Everyone got Camp Crud, and you just have to power through it. The only people I really butted heads with were the guys that got Camp Crud and thought, "Oh well, I'm not going to work today." And the crazy thing, once you get put on the fire, you're getting paid for that whole 2 weeks. If you decide, "Oh, I'm going to stay in my tent all day," which they don't allow that too often, but if you decide, "Oh, I'm going to sit in my tent all day and just collect dough," and just because I'm too sick to go out, you get 3 days of just collecting dough. But there's ways to milk it, and there were guys out there milking it. You could sleep in your tent one day and then go out on the fire line and be like, "Oh, I don't feel good," and just sit in the trucks for the other day, and then the next day sleep in your tent and then go, "I don't feel good." And there was a couple of guys doing that, and I don't respect that shit. Fuck you to every guy that did that shit. You know who the fuck you are. If you see this video, fuck you. It was a great experience, but there was some real dickheads out there. There was some real privileged assholes that didn't even really need the job. Most of us out here, this is a necessity for the men that was just out there. "Oh, fucking mommy and daddy said I needed a job." Fuck you, all right. And that was my first run. I did the full 2 weeks. It was great. I got Camp Crud, like I said. I was only out of commission for one day. I nearly passed out, sat down, ended up falling asleep for another 4 hours. So I completed my first full 2 weeks. It was great. I just want to say shout out to the homegirl Hennessy. I doubt you're going to ever see this video, but there was a young lady out there named Hennessy, and she got the Camp Crud, and she didn't skip a beat. She was out there picking up logs and swamping shit out that other men couldn't pick up. She's fucking great. She was doing this just for her resume to go into, I think she wanted to be FBI. I hope you're doing great, Hennessy, wherever you're at. You're a fucking dope person. Godspeed to you. But that was my first run. It was great. At the end of it, they give you $1,000 because it takes a while for the process, the actual money you're going to get. So they give you $1,000 at the end of the 2 weeks, just like, "Hey, here's to stay on your feet until your actual paycheck comes." And it was dope to go back to my other guys back at the camp that were all our out-of-towners, where we had carved out a lane for ourselves, our little campsite off in the woods that we were just pretty much illegally camping. But it was dope to come back and see what everyone had done with their money. There was just beer everywhere. It was fucking pizza. It was dope to see the actual transition from rags to riches. It was out of this world. It was a sight to see for sure. And it was great. A couple of other guys went on their second run immediately. I went on another run that actually got cut short. I was only out there for 7 days because it was a small fire. I actually saw the fire that time, but small fire. And after that, came back. And by this time, it's starting to be October. It's getting colder. Fire season's dying down. And a lot of guys went home. It went from 9 of us, then it was 7, then it was 4. And then the last, it was 3 of us. And it was me, the guy I came out there with, and another kid. And we dropped him off at a relative's house or close in the area. And then we made our way back home. But that was my first ever trip to Oregon and first ever time on a fire line. This was back in 2023. And it was great. I look forward to sharing more stories with you guys, but this was just an introductory to me, just kind of what I'm all about. I have hella stories, man. I got stories for days. I'm 27 years old, and I've lived a life. And I look forward to sharing them with you here on this page. But that's it for me. Hope y'all enjoy. Hope you have a good day. All right, I'm out.